Winters are possibly my most favorite as a season for two reasons. One, because the weather is nice and nippy, and two, the produce is at an all-time beauty. The one that I'm using today is green pea or Matar or Vatana, and what I'm making out of that is a Matar Ghughra, also known as a Gujiya or a Karanji. Let's begin. I'm going to begin this recipe with regular vegetable oil. Well, not too much in this case, because this one is for the stuffing or the filling. Well, the stuffing or the filling, you may ask, what's the flavor profile exactly? Well, this one is a touch sweet, a touch sour, and a touch sweet. Of course, I'm going to build it up using several ingredients, but for now, let's see what I do next. Once the oil heats up, I'm going to add in some cumin seeds. Well, this is a very typical Gujarati way of making a Karanji or a Ghughra or a Gujiya. Well, Gujiya is a very typical North Indian name. Karanji is very typically Maharashtrian, and Ghughra as a name is very typically Gujarati. Let's move on to the next ingredient, and that is Asafoetida. I'm going to quickly build it up now because I do not want anything to burn here. Moving on to ginger, very little. This is crushed and kept ready. I'm going to add in some red chili, which is dried. Of course, you can use it in an absolute crushed form. You can use green chilies, you can use green chili paste, your choice. Raisins and cashews. Pan fry this on low flame, considering the fact that these are ingredients that will quickly burn and you do not want that to happen. Once the raisins just kind of begin to balloon up, I'm going to add in peas. Now this is raw and crushed. When I say crushed peas, all you need to do is take the peas and run them or blitz them in a grinder. Let's stir this well. Once the peas are sauteed on high flame for like a minute or so, I'm going to start adding in the rest of the ingredients. Beginning with garam masala. Now since there is no other spice or any other flavoring, this should work perfectly well in the given quantity. Let's add in sugar, because like I said, the profile in this case is a tad spicy, a touch sweet, and a touch sour. I'm just adding in a little bit of ghee just to kind of bring in that richness in this recipe. Fresh grated coconut, all of it actually. If you can lay your hands on some fresh coriander leaves, you can add that as well. You want to accentuate this with a little bit of fresh mint, you can do that as well. You want to take it to a complete another level and add in fresh fenugreek leaves. Choice is completely yours. Splash in some lemon juice. Ensure that all the seeds are collected. And finally, last but not the least, salt. Let's mix all this well and continue cooking for another 2 to 3 minutes because you want the peas to get lightly cooked. Of course, they're going to get fried later, so that's also going to kind of continue in terms of its cooking time. But for now, 2-3 minutes and that should be good. Now, when I say all of this, it's also important to lower the flame and continue cooking this with the lid on. Now, what's the beauty of a stuffing and a filling is in a country like India, which is such a melting pot of recipes and culture, you can fill it or stuff it with literally anything. From leafy vegetables to potatoes, to sweet potatoes, to cauliflowers, to vegetables of your choice, to a combination of peas and carrots, or paneer for that matter, or soya granules. The choice is absolutely large and wide. This way you can personalize it, you can regionalize it, and that's the beauty of a country like India. Let this continue cooking on low flame for 2 to 3 minutes. And while that is happening, let's start making the outer covering. The outer covering of a Gujiya or a Karanji or a Ghughra is generally made with refined flour. In case you also want to kind of combine some whole wheat flour, you can take a ratio of 50-50. I've taken this in a deep bowl to which I'm going to add in salt, desi ghee. Now, desi ghee in this recipe is used for two reasons. One is because of that wonderful flavor of ghee, and second is to bring in the khasta nature or the short crust nature of this pastry. Well, the outer covering is also known as a pastry, a salted pastry. Let's add in vegetable oil to increase the crumbliness of this pastry. And with the help of the tip of your fingers, we're going to run this through like so to ensure that this starts resembling breadcrumbs in terms of its texture. This refined flour has now come to the texture as we desire. Well, parallelly, if you see, this is also done and ready. Allow this to stay covered so that with the remainder steam, it continues cooking. Once this converts into a ball like so, I'm going to crush it and add in water. Do not get tempted to add in a lot of water at one go because you need the dough, of course, pliable, but you also need it soft. With this, a ball of dough is also done and ready. This also needs a little resting time. Just 10 minutes is perfect, but under a damp cloth. Let's place this like so. So now this is done, our filling is done. The next step is getting the shapes right and eventually frying them. Let's begin with shaping the Ghughras or the Gujiyas. Let's pinch a marble-sized ball and then also kind of press it lightly. Let's take it on a surface and let's start rolling this into a thin disc. When I say thin, I mean the thickness of a puri. Let's place it on our fingers like so and take a tablespoon of this mixture and place it like so. With an index finger, let's quickly add in just a touch of water on the sides or the edges of the Ghughra and fold this like a half moon. Ensure that this is pinched well because you do not want it to open up while frying. Well, this in a lot of ways is possibly one of the most identifiable shapes of a Ghughra. Of course, now modern culinary angles make it look like a ravioli and things like that, but this is the most identifiable. The next is to give it these pleats with the help of our thumb and index finger. You pinch it, twist it, and again pinch it. Continue this till you reach the other end of the Ghughra. Well, similarly, let's start making some more Ghughras. With this, our Ghughras are shaped and ready. The oil is also heated up simultaneously. Let's slide these in. And in this case especially, we're supposed to overcrowd the pan. Now what happens with overcrowding a pan? The oil temperature drops and that way it slowly starts cooking. It slowly starts increasing its temperature and cooking. Now in this way, the short crust nature of the outer covering just kind of gets accentuated, and that is exactly what we're looking at in a recipe like this. And that is also one of the reasons why samosas or kachoris are fried low and slow. Remember this. Well, how do you gauge the temperature of oil without touching it, of course, and without using a temperature probe? You'll see that these bubbles slightly and lightly start erupting, and that is a sign where the oil is at its most perfect temperature. Well, slowly you'll also see that the Ghughras or the Karanjis start rising on top. Now these Ghughras will take at least 15 to 18 minutes to fry on low to medium flame. These are now done and ready. Beautiful, crisp, golden brown on the outside and wonderfully sweet, sour and spicy within. Of course, with the magic and beauty of green peas. With this, a Matar Ghughra or Karanji or savory Gujiyas are done and ready. You can serve this with a sweet chutney, with a mint chutney, or even tomato ketchup. Make this for family, make this for friends. Impress them. On that note, stay tuned for more such quick, simple and easy recipes only on Rajshri Food. Bye for now.